Will President Biden face impeachment over Afghanistan crisis? The military don't start wars, politicians start wars. Well, it seems President Biden is about to instigate war with his decisions over the whole Afghanistan crisis. Are we looking forward to another September 11 invasion? Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Today we take an in-depth look at events in Afghanistan, the fall of Afghanistan to the Taliban, President Biden's attempt to withdraw troops, the call for President Biden's impeachment, and a lot more. Before we begin, please subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell. Welcome back guys. Let's begin by educating you about the Taliban. Who are the Taliban? The Taliban were a military group evacuated from power in Afghanistan by US-led forces in the year 2001, but the group has been terrorizing in recent months. They have become so offensive and are on the brink of seizing power again. Recently, President Biden stated that the fall of Afghanistan's government unfolded more quickly than the United States expected, but Biden stood firmly behind his decision to withdraw United States troops. Well, the devastating news is that the Taliban now dominates the capital city, Kabul. This is only 2 decades since they were removed by US troops. Recently, chaotic scenes unfolded at Kabul's airport, as a lot of citizens were seen trying to flee via an airplane. With this daily happening, it seems events in Afghanistan are becoming more devastating than one could imagine. Let's take a quick look at the Taliban and their rise to power. The Taliban rose to power. The Taliban began in the early 1990s in the northern part of Pakistan, resulting from the withdrawal of Soviet troops from Afghanistan. It is assumed that the predominantly Pashtun movement initially appeared in major religious seminaries, mainly paid for by resources from Saudi Arabia, which advocated a hardline form of Sunni Islam. The promise made by the Taliban was to bring peace and restore security, and, most importantly, to enforce their harsh version of Sharia, or Islamic law, once in power. But as years passed by, the Taliban rapidly extended their dominance and influence. In September 1995, they invaded the entire province of Herat, bordering Iran, and just exactly a year later, they invaded the Afghanistan capital, Kabul, terrorizing and overthrowing the administration of President Burhanuddin Rabbani, one of the founders of the Afghan Mujahideen that prevented the Soviet occupation. By the year 1998, the Taliban dominated and captured 90% of Afghanistan. Afghanistan, tired of the Mujahideen's crisis, welcomed the Taliban when they were initially showcased on the stage. Their initial popularity and dominance were largely due to their success in curbing lawlessness, stamping out corruption, and making areas and roads under their control safe for commerce to flourish. The bad sides of the Taliban. But the Taliban also initiated and approved punishments in line with their harsh interpretation and understanding of Sharia law, such as amputations for those found guilty of theft, disapproval of girls aged 10 and over going to school, and public executions of convicted adulterers and murderers. Also, men were forcefully demanded to grow beards, and women had to wear the all-covering burqa. The Taliban also abused human and cultural rights. They banned cinema, television, and music. One notorious example of abusing human rights was in 2001, when the Taliban destroyed the famous Bamiyan Buddha statues, which were located in central Afghanistan despite the international outrage. Al-Qaeda and United States attacks. On September 11, 2001, the Taliban attracted the attention of the world to Afghanistan as they attacked the World Trade Center in New York. The Taliban provided a home for the main suspects, Osama bin Laden and his harmful Al-Qaeda movement. On October 7, 2001, Afghanistan was invaded by a US-led military coalition, and by the first week of December 2001, the Taliban's tenure had collapsed. The group's then leader, Mullah Muhammad Omar, and bin Laden escaped capture despite one of the biggest manhunts in the world. Though there were increased numbers of foreign troops in Afghanistan, the Taliban slowly regained and then expanded their influence in Afghanistan, making violence and insecurity in the country increase to levels not seen since 2001. There have been a lot of Taliban attacks on Kabul, and in September 2012, the group made a high-profile raid on NATO's Camp Bastion base. There were chances of a negotiated peace in 2013, when the Taliban made attempts to open an office in Qatar, but the lack of honesty on all sides increased and the violence went on. Why are the Taliban taking over now? One of the reasons the Taliban are taking over is because United States troops are ready to withdraw. The United States has been attempting to get out of Afghanistan, its longest war, for many years now. This brings the call to impeach President Biden. Calls to impeach President Joe Biden. The call to impeach the U.S. president has increased tremendously on social media following President Ashraf Ghani's ceding power to the Taliban and the withdrawal of the majority of the United States military from Afghanistan. Despite serious concerns from Afghan officials over the Taliban's dominance and the Afghan government vulnerability to the Taliban without any international support, The new U.S. President, Joe Biden, announced in April 2021 that all American forces would evacuate from the country by 11 September, 20 years to the day since the fall of the World Trade Center. Donald Trump's ex-attorney, Rudy Giuliani, the former mayor of New York, was quick to castigate Biden, as well as House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Vice President Kamala Harris on Twitter. The former Nevada chairwoman, Amy Tarkanian, tweeted that Biden could no longer remain commander-in-chief after the alarming weekend events in Afghanistan. The cabinet should immediately invoke the 25th Amendment. If they don't do that, Congress should move to impeach him. His remaining as our commander-in-chief is a national security threat, Tarkanian said. Jerome Bell, a known Trump-supporting Republican, tweeted a screenshot stating that Biden lied about the entire military intelligence on Afghanistan. The military intelligence allegedly told him for the duration leading up to the U.S. withdrawal, the Afghan force was surrendering hundreds, sometimes thousands, all over the country to the Taliban. President Joe Biden said in a July 8 press briefing that the Afghan military was capable of subverting the Taliban. Boom! #impeach Biden, Jerome Bell wrote on Twitter. Recently, President Ghani fled the country. He had posted on Facebook that he had chosen to depart his country to stop the bloodshed in Kabul that had been dominated by the Taliban. He said that countless patriots could be martyred and the city of Kabul would be destroyed if he had stayed there. There is speculation by Afghan TV network Tolo News that President Ghani fled to neighboring Tajikistan. Biden recently defended the U.S. pullout from Afghanistan. President Biden has maintained that he stands squarely behind the U.S. exit from Afghanistan, as he is subjected to a plethora of criticism. How many more American lives is it worth, the president asked. He maintained that irrespective of the messy pullout, there was never a good time to withdraw U.S. forces. On Sunday, 15th August 2021, the Taliban triumphed after Afghanistan President Ashraf Ghani fled and his administration collapsed. President Biden returned on Monday, 16th August 2021, and during his briefing he said, "If anything, the developments of the past week reinforce that ending U.S. military involvement in Afghanistan now was the right decision." He continued by saying, "American troops cannot and should not be fighting in a war and dying in a war that Afghan forces are not willing to fight for themselves." President Joe Biden is witnessing an intense political backlash over the crisis in Kabul, following his April approval of an order which allowed all American troops out of Afghanistan by 11 September. The Republican Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell tweeted, "What we are seeing in Afghanistan is an unmitigated disaster. The Biden administration's retreat will leave a stain on the reputation of the United States." In his briefing, President Biden said the United States mission in Afghanistan was never supposed to be about nation building. He maintained that when he was vice president, he had vehemently rejected the 2009 deployment of troops into the country by former President Barack Obama. President Biden also noted he inherited a deal negotiated with the Taliban under former President Donald Trump for the U.S. to withdraw from Afghanistan. "I will not mislead the American people by claiming that just a little more time in Afghanistan will make all the difference." President Biden maintained that this has unfolded more quickly than we had anticipated. Though opinion polls show that most Americans support the United States' attempt to exit Afghanistan, but President Biden is criticized over the procedure of the departure. After he withdrew troops, he sent thousands back in to aid the evacuation. Earlier, on Monday, August 16, 2021, the United States suspended its evacuation from Kabul after events of panic at the capital's airport. Thousands of civilians were seen desperate to flee the country. The United States military personnel told the BBC's U.S. partner CBS News that U.S. troops had killed 2 armed Afghans who were part of the numerous crowd that breached the airport perimeter. 7 people fell from the American military transport as it taxied for departure, and they died. If we don't end the war will end us. Let's hope the recent events will not lead to more devastating and brutal situations. Thanks for watching and subscribing to our channel. Love you.